Imagine this: a man sitting calmly in an aeroplane, wearing a suit, a black tie, and a dark sunglasses. No panic, no excuse, just pure confidence. Hours later, he jumps out of the plane with $2 lakh cash and disappears forever. This isn't a movie. This is the real story of the man the world calls Dan Cooper. November 24, 1971, a routine flight, Northwest Orient Airlines Flight 305 from Portland to Seattle. Among 36 passengers, one man sat in the back. He ordered a soda. Then he handed a note to young flight attendant, Flores Schaffner. He thought it was just a casual flirt until he leaned closer and said, "Miss, you had better read the note. I have a bomb." She looked. His briefcase was slightly open. Inside red sticks, wires, and batteries. The hijack had begun. Cooper's demands was chillingly specific. $2 lakh in cash, 4 parachutes, and a fuel truck ready when the plane landed in Seattle. But it wasn't just the demands. It was the way he controlled the situations. He called another flight attendant, the McClough, to his seat. Calmly, almost politely, he gave her instruction. And then come his bold warning: if anyone make a mistake, this bomb will explode. Think about it. Dozens if lives in that small cabin, fears in the crew's eyes, and one man absolutely in charge. Experts later said the real hero was the Tina herself. Any ordinary person would have broken down in panic, but Tina stayed calm. She followed every instruction word for word, kept the passenger unaware, and never lost control. He believes Cooper's plan worked only because the Tina handled the crisis with such courage and professionalism. Hours of waiting, the ransom money and the parachutes were delivered. Passengers was released safely. Only Cooper, Tina, and cockpit crew remained on board. Then Cooper gave his final orders: fly towards Mexico at 10,000 feet altitude, slow speed. It was steamy, rainy heavily, with freezing winds. Somewhere over the dark forest of Washington, Cooper opened the rear staircase. He tied money back to himself, strapped the parachute, and without any hesitation he jumped. No one ever saw him again. No body, no parachutes, no trace, just silence. The FBI launched the largest manhunt in American history. Rivers were searched, forests combined, mountains explored. What they found were only fragments: a black tie left on his seat, a few cigarette butts, and the handwritten note. But no fingerprints, no parachute, no Cooper. Every lead ending in dead ends. Was this FBI failure or Cooper's flawless planning? Decades later, experts still debate the question. Did Cooper survive? Some says the jump was suicide, storm, freezing winds, rough terrain. No ordinary man could survive that. But others point out something chilling: that jump wasn't random. The altitude, the speed of the plane, the timing, everything was perfectly. Experts believe only inexperienced parachuters could pull it off. Which raises the question: was Cooper a trained military? And what about his psychology? During the hijack, he was unnervingly calm. Passenger never knew they were in danger. Experts say confusing the passenger and keeping the atmosphere calm was a psychological tactic, a mind game Cooper played perfectly. In 1980, a young boy digging near a river bank found $5,800 of the ransom money, rotting, half buried. But that discovery created more questions. If Cooper died, how did the money end up here? And if he lived, why leave part of the ransom behind? Over the years, many tried to copy his hijack style, jumping from the plane with parachuters. Almost all failed, caught or killed. But Dan Cooper, his name became legend. Book, documentaries, movies all kept his ghost alive. 50 years later, the mystery still haunts America. Every time a plane flies over the Northwest forest, people wonder, did Cooper survive that night? Is he live under the new identity, or is his body still hidden in the wilderness, waiting to be discovered? One man, one jam, $2 lakh that never ends. So I ask you, was Dan Cooper a genius who pulled off the perfect escape, or just a desperate man who vanished into the storm? Drop your theories in the comments, because maybe, just maybe, the truth still out through. If you love interesting stories, educational knowledge, and unsolved mysteries, then make sure to subscribe to the StoryX Story Experience channel. Every story will be a new adventure.